Hello, and welcome to my presentation on public history, titled Bridging Academic Rigor and Community Engagement. Public history is about connecting the past to the present in meaningful ways. It doesn't just involve studying history, it's about actively engaging people with history, whether through museums, oral histories, or digital media. Over the next 10 to 12 minutes, I'll explore what public history is, how it differs from academic history, its ethical challenges, and its impact on society. Let's begin by defining public history and understanding its goals. Public history is the practice of history outside of traditional academic settings. Robert Kelly famously defined it as history put to work in the world. While academic historians often focus on theoretical debates and publish for scholarly audiences, public historians aim to make history accessible and engaging for the broader public. Consider a museum exhibit. It's not just a collection of artifacts, it's a carefully curated narrative designed to teach, inspire, and provoke thought. Similarly, public history might involve creating a historical walking tour, developing a digital archive, or producing a documentary. These activities serve a dual purpose. They preserve the past and make it relevant to contemporary audiences. Public history is also deeply interdisciplinary. It draws from fields like anthropology, sociology, and even digital design. For example, creating a smartphone app for a historical walking tour requires not only historical research, but also technical skills and an understanding of user experience design. This interdisciplinary nature makes public history both challenging and rewarding. But why does public history matter? Imagine a world where only scholars had access to historical knowledge. Without public history, much of the richness of our shared past might be inaccessible to most people. Public history and academic history share a commitment to rigorous research, but their audiences and methods differ significantly. Academic historians typically write for other scholars, producing detailed analyses and monographs. Public historians, by contrast, focus on communicating with diverse audiences, from school children to local communities. For example, academic history might produce a 300-page book on a single historical figure. Public history might instead create an interactive exhibit, allowing visitors to experience that figure's life through virtual reality or hands-on activities. Both approaches are valuable, but they serve different purposes. Another significant difference is the role of storytelling. Academic history often emphasizes analysis and argument, while public history focuses on creating narratives that resonate with diverse audiences. This doesn't mean public history is simplistic. On the contrary, crafting a compelling and accurate narrative is one of the most challenging aspects of the field. Think about historical films or documentaries. While these may simplify complex events, they also have the power to spark interest in history and encourage viewers to learn more. Public historians must strike a delicate balance between accessibility and accuracy. Collaboration is a cornerstone of public history. Public historians engage with stakeholders, people who have a vested interest in how history is represented. This could include descendants of historical figures, local community groups, or organizations funding the project. A great example is the Bristol Ethnic Minorities Project. This initiative documented over 1,000 years of ethnic diversity in Bristol, England. It involved extensive community engagement, from oral history interviews to public workshops. The result was a narrative that reflected the community's voice and highlighted often overlooked contributions. Let's take another example. The creation of local history exhibits. Imagine a project to document the history of a small town. Public historians might collaborate with residents to gather photographs, artifacts, and oral histories. This collaboration not only enriches the exhibit, but also fosters a sense of community pride. However, shared authority isn't always smooth. Stakeholders may have conflicting views about how certain events should be represented. For instance, in projects involving colonial history, tensions can arise between preserving historical accuracy and addressing contemporary sensitivities. Public historians must navigate these challenges with care and diplomacy. Public history often involves ethical challenges. How do you represent a painful or controversial past? How do you ensure that marginalized voices are included without exploiting them? Let's look at the Ghent Orphanages project. Researchers conducted oral histories with former orphans, many of whom had experienced significant trauma. Participants asked deeply personal questions such as, "Why was I placed in the orphanage?" or "Why didn't anyone tell me I had siblings?" These moments required the researchers to balance their role as historians with their ethical obligation to the participants. Ethical challenges also arise when dealing with contested histories. For example, how should we address monuments and memorials tied to controversial figures? Public historians play a crucial role in facilitating these debates, helping communities decide whether to reinterpret, relocate, or remove such symbols. Michel Rolfe Trujillo, in Silencing the Past, explains that history is both what happened and what is said to have happened. In public history, the narrative we choose shapes how communities understand their past. For example, the story of the Alamo is often framed as a heroic last stand, despite being a military defeat. This narrative has shaped Texan identity for generations, illustrating how public history can influence collective memory. Let's consider another example of narrative shaping history, the Civil Rights Movement. Many public history projects focus on preserving oral histories from this era. These stories don't just recount events, they provide personal insights into the struggles and triumphs of those who lived through it. This narrative power is why public history matters. It doesn't just inform us about the past, it inspires us to think critically about the present and future. The Bristol Project also highlights the importance of representation. Historically, ethnic minorities in Bristol were often excluded from mainstream narratives. By documenting their stories, this project not only enriched the city's history, but also challenged traditional ideas about who gets to be part of the historical record. What made this project successful was its community involvement. Local residents contributed stories, artifacts, and insights, ensuring that the final narrative was both accurate and meaningful. This approach not only preserved history, but also empowered the community to see their heritage as a vital part of the city's identity. Public history also has a profound educational impact. Studies show that people trust museums and historical sites more than textbooks or films when it comes to learning about the past. This trust places a significant responsibility on public historians to present accurate and inclusive histories. Moreover, public history can be a powerful tool for social change. By highlighting histories of injustice or resilience, it encourages us to reflect on how we can create a more equitable society. In conclusion, public history is more than a profession. It's a way of bridging the past and the present, scholarship and society. It challenges us to think critically, collaborate meaningfully, and engage with history in ways that are both inclusive and impactful. As we move forward, the field of public history will continue to evolve, embracing new technologies and perspectives to ensure that history remains a vibrant and relevant part of our lives. Thank you for joining me in exploring this vital and dynamic field. If you have any questions or would like to discuss this topic further, feel free to reach out. Thank you for your time.